myself, and then I use normal OBS for all of the competitive things that I do. It just makes sure that everything is just nice and streamlined that way. Pardon the pun. So, Junior on the left-hand side of your screen, coming in with the Kid Cobra. Ram and a Nade going to be the combination, and for Riffa it is going to be Ninjara that he will start with immediately with the Triblast and the Ice Dragon. And immediately Riffa knows exactly what he's using. He's pretty much used nothing but this combination with Ninjara over the past few tournaments. Nade is still nothing to snip at, both using an explosive arm that definitely propels in with that added little kickback that the explosion does deliver. Definitely chips away at the armor, and Cobra are going to try and use their good old agility to slide away, use their slightly bigger gloves to leave a more of an impression that Ram is always scary the bigger it gets.
Yes, it's also very special to see Junior not using a Guardian arm, because that's basically a signature arm. And with Nate being a pretty good armor Cobra, because of his girth, Junior might have a good advantage versus Riffa.
As it stands, they are both pretty much even here, although the Triblast doing what it does best, just hitting Cobra in the most tiniest of ways. As long as one of those bolts can hit, especially when it's charged, it'll deal the damage first and then just explode in Cobra's face. There's nothing Junior can really do about that. And the Nade is obviously a harder arm to use as well, considering the fact that it is one of only 2 unguided arms in the game, and Junior is going to get knocked back into critical. 10 seconds left on the clock. They'll have to land some really choice hits here now, but I don't think that they're going to win this point now. Riffa has just taken this completely away from them, and another bolt hit takes them down for the KO.
Yeah, a lot of people have trouble not falling into Riffa's Ice Dragon, and that is because it's a very good arm in medium range, and in some ways it could be seen as the opposite of Chakram, whereas you aren't in the advantage, you are gonna have a very hard time against specific arms, and Chakram and Ice Dragon fall under that category.
They certainly do, and the trampoline is going to be out, and I don't think either party will really mind it as much. In fact, for Riffa, it really just helps them with the gates of that dragon excelling at the range capabilities, and using the Triblast, it just keeps Junior at bay, although the Guardian is starting to find a pattern of its own, but again, just sliding into the Dragon Laser just a little too many times there. And again, just like that, Junior went from having a pretty decent health lead to now being underneath Riffa at this point. Gets the shot with the Guardian,
that
though.
was a very nice grab. Unfortunately, that rush is gonna hit.
Yeah.
Junior proving how situational Ninjara's shield can be at times.
Yeah, obviously Ninjara can't do a normal shield like every other character does. If a punch hits the shield whilst it's up for Ninjara, they'll immediately teleport whichever direction Riffa wants it to. And obviously, in rush format with the Ram, if you teleport right into the path of it, the Ram's going to connect with you. Just like that rush does for Riffa as well, who just decides to have a nice little time on the trampoline, gets themselves into a safe position, and now see if they can keep this lead over Junior and just keep them at bay.
Yeah, with the trampoline open, Junior seems to have a kind of hard time approaching Riffa at the moment, because as you can see, Riffa has a very high health lead, and he might be looking for a semi-perfect right now.
Certainly can, although I think the explosion did take that away from them now, so they have taken a bit of damage. Junior with rush, but they're already on the cusp of KO, essentially. If Riffa wants to go for the rush and they nail it, it'll definitely be Junior down, and the arm weak on the right hand side doesn't help their cause, but they do connect with the rush. Good amount of damage, 365 with 33 seconds to go. There is the tri-bolt explosion, does finally take Junior down into critical. Riffa knows they only need a couple more hits, but the Guardian again catches Riffa out in midair. Never underestimate how quickly that shield can move towards you. And the rush gets the initial knock on Junior, but doesn't actually get enough for the KO. So Junior is still alive here with 9 seconds left on the clock, and Riffa knows they just need to keep moving, just not allow Junior to catch up with them. and Junior tried
Yeah.
to go for the grab. They had to go for it, and Ripper punishes.
Junior getting really desperate during the last seconds, but unfortunately Rifa was being patient and able to take off a punish.
Absolutely, and with that we're going to go into Buster Beach. I don't think Riffa is going to be switching. There's nothing to say that he will be doing so. For those of you who aren't sure what the rule sets are for this, it's the same rule set as with all of the Challenge Cups. The 5 starter stages are in effect. It's a 1-to-1 strike ban system for match number 1. Those 5 stages are Buster Beach, Sparring Ring, DNA Labs, Temple Grounds, and Mausoleum. 2 more stages get added into counter picks. They are Viaduls and Scrapyard. The winner bans 2 stages from that entire list, and the loser picks one of the remaining stages, which is why we find ourselves on Buster Beach. Neither player wanted to change their characters, so Cobra versus Ninjara again. Notice the fact that Ripper has kept both arms, but Junior has decided to bring in the Burchuck.
Yeah, Burchuck might be a really good counter pick against Rifa because his playstyle revolves a lot around jumping. So Junior could catch Rifa in the air with the special modus of how is it called, Burchuck?
Burchuck with the 2 different ways of attacking, one on the floor and one on the ground. Obviously, Cobra does like to slip and jump around quite a lot, so you'll see the secondary mode of attacking come up quite often, it must be said. Junior down past the halfway mark, so too is Riffet though. Both are pretty much the same kind of health. Riffet finally does take the lead with another 1-2 pick with the bolts and the jacket. Gets it a second time around. Despite lingering in this hot pocket area, they're gonna go for the rush. They only tag in on the right hand side, and now Junior comes in with a rush of their own, nails all of it instead of Ripper, pops Ripper down to pretty much 1 hit away. An explosion from the nade actually sets the knockback, then Ripper on 1 HP. Junior now also a hit away from going down, and they underestimated the Dragon Laser.
Yeah, Junior really nicely avoiding that rush, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to take a round off of Rifa.
Yeah, it's just like all of that damage and the explosion as well. Like, I've seen so many KOs happen via the AoE explosions, but the game says not this time round, just gives it to Ripper that time. And we are going to see the Burchuck switched out, and the Guardian makes its second appearance. So far, just all of the explosions just sort of like bouncing off the Guardian at this point. It really does act like an additional shield. Unlike the clapback, it's just that shock intimidation, and that is what it can do to you. Just out of range though, just out of range of the follow-up grab. That would have been a great punish for Junior, just a little too far away. The nade bounces off the little plinth as well, which really does not help Junior in the slightest. Both again on kind of level terms here, and it's Junior who is going to try and make the aggressive push, but gets caught again.
Rifa getting a really nice rush in, and that is gonna bring Junior to the hot pocket. Rifa doesn't decide to approach though.
Kinda doesn't really need to. Like, their weapons that they have, they're able to utilize that at range quite nicely. Junior just finally knocked them back with an explosion of their own. But again, Rifa was just like, yeah, I don't need to push this aggressively. It's Junior that has to do all of the work here to get themselves back into the match. And the laser again just swoops clean on around. And that is going to be that. Rifa will be advancing into winners semi-final by 2-0 ahead of Junior.
And for those who may have heard some doubled game audio, hopefully it should be fixed right now.
You've managed to double everything. That is pretty impressive, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That was amusing, but no, that is how that first match will play out. So Rifa, again, just showing why they are one of the best players in the EU ARMS community at this point in time. Just another nice 2-0. Though having said that, Junior did incredibly well to keep that pretty close. Yes, it does end as a 2-0 in that set, but still, very good showing from Junior.
Yeah, and it's quite. The tables have quite turned from the last EU PR Invitational because Junior had a very close yet very hype Grand Finals versus Rifa, with Junior eventually taking the game over Rifa and winning that previous PR Invitational. But now Rifa is like aiming to go for another sweep to the Grand Finals.
Yeah, it's gonna certainly make that drive a whole lot more interesting, but never underestimate what Junior is able to do, especially down in the underground bracket. Yes, they've got a lot of work ahead of them, but certainly don't count them out just yet. So with that, we are now going to be advancing on to winners semi-finals. For whatever reason, the scoreboard just was not updated for me. And we are going to have to leave this lobby to go into a brand new one. Whilst we do that, I kind of inform you of the other two matches that have taken place. Replicant has beaten Auckland by 2 points to nil, which is why our first semi-final will be coming up, and it will be between Rifa and Replicant. Iceman, meanwhile, beating Yam by 2 points to 1, so we've had our first best of 3 go the distance tonight, and that is Iceman Yam. Always good to see the fight being taken to the higher seed. We are still awaiting results on Grimwood and Alistair. Hopefully we'll get an update on that soon. But until then, we are now preparing for our first semi-final. So what are your thoughts? Which way do you reckon this one will be going?
My gut feeling says Rifa.
I think everyone's gut feeling says Rifa.
Replicant has had some good track records versus Rifa before, so we'll never know.
Yeah.
Like this old man knows some really good tricks.
I'm sure Replicant will appreciate being called old. And Replicant is going to show the flexibility of their by bringing in a Lollipop. Papa and Burchuk for Replicant, so we're going to see that Burchuk coming out again, but on a completely different character. The Papa, always an interesting arm to come up with. One of the lighter arms in the game, one of the quicker arms as well, but again, it will just get punched through by pretty much everything. But if it can make its impact before the dragon can start its laser shenanigans, Replicant might be able to sort of like calm Rifa down a little bit. Arm weak on the left-hand side, as Rifa gets another bit of a tag. Rush is ready to go. The dragon just robbing Lollipop's abilities away temporarily, and the Rush is going to come in full blast, 350 damage with Rush ready for Replicant. A quick little 1-2 combo from Rifa. Bolt and Dragons just consistently coming out. There's not really much that Ninjara could really do about this. I say Ninjara. Replicant could really do about this at the moment in the Popper, forcing Rifa right into the corner. Bolt and the Dragon again just keeping Replicant down. They can't really utilize Lollipop's ability. Now it's Rifa's turn, and unfortunately Replicant, instead of shielding, tried to bounce out of it. Gets caught with a good amount of damage. If they can get another hit in though, they might be able to close this up, and Rifa knows exactly that they got caught by the bird chuck. It's a draw! It's a draw between Rifa and Replicant of the first point of the first match in the first semi-final. So, we're going to go ahead and do another round before either player has even got a point on the board. Triblast and Ice Dragon is going to be on the same page. Replicant gets a chance to do a switch up, goes for the chiller, bounces successfully away, but does lose the arm on the right hand side. Rifa does manage to get a nice little lick of ice in there and just slows Replicant down. They have a much better health lead this time round, but Replicant, not one to battle either, actually goes for the rush and gets it. Bolt again, just missing it, but that Dragon again is still being very consistent here against Replicant, who's already in to critical condition. Riffa has this a little bit more comfortably, but again, can't underestimate what Replicant could do. Going to come with the Chiller, but again, these 1-2 combos from Riffa, just every single time the Bolt lands, the Dragon is already out and it's ready to get the KO. Again, you see it there, the Bolt got the KO, but the Dragon was already out, primed and ready to go, just in case the Bolts didn't hit, and that will be a point to Riffa. So Burchuck coming out again, so too is the Popper, so a little bit of another switch up for Replicant. Again, Riffa not really going to change what's not broken. Like I said, Riffa really does just play with these two arms primarily, especially with Ninjara. Shield again, just going to make sure to keep those bolts and the Dragon as bolted down as possible. Rush comes out, nothing Replicant could do about it. 350 back into the corner. We're going to see the Popper bounce off of the stairs as Replicant tries to take center stage, tries to take some kind of control away from Riffa. The rush is going to come out, but the explosion is going to knock them out of it. Unfortunate to see that, but very good timing from Riffa. Ninja finally getting caught by the Burchuck. Again, that Popper, it is a very quick arm, but again, the second the Tribe Blast can go through, as long as it can get the pick, then the Popper won't really threaten Riffa too much. And just like that, Replicant is just one punch away from go down, and it will be the Dragon Laser that does take it. 3 rounds were had there instead of the usual 2, because the first point ended in a draw. But there we go. Riffa will take that point away in the end. It is 1-0 in this set. So an absolutely unbelievable start to the first semi-finals. Riffa and Replicant getting a timed out draw on the very first point and just basically reset that field beautifully. Replicant had to really push for that point. And to be fair, I think Riffa just could not keep up with it. The Burchuck catching them right at the last second, and it was just enough damage to tie it. Unfortunately, Replicant couldn't take full advantage of it. But again, staying in this fight as best they can, taking Riffa down to the wire each and every time. So we'll see what Replicant decides to switch up. We've got that Powerballer in there. We've got the Phoenix in there as well. So the Burchuck is gone. And so too has the Chiller. So different arm strategies coming out from Replicant here. Going to keep the light-paced, fast arm of the Popper, but the Powerballer, an inspired choice. Powerballer can just go as quickly as it likes to. But once the umbrella part of it does open on up, it does slow down a little bit, not as much as the Parasol does, and obviously that extra intimidation with the electricity to try and just shock Riffa, stall them so that Riffa can get either a free hit or a grab. Rush is going to come out and Riffa will catch them with that 360, sends Replicant onto the cusp of critical, make that into critical again. These 1-2 hits with the Bolt and the Dragon is just a little too much for Replicant here. This arm combination is not working as much as they would like to. Let's get another Popper hit in, and the arm weak and shocked. Again, that pillar of Temple Ground just about saving Riffa's bacon there. And Replicant is just a punch away from going down. Powerballer almost getting the hit in there. Just grazes Riffa, but the blasts most certainly do more than just graze. And Riffa takes the initiative again. And Riffa is going to do a little bit of a switcheroo. We are going to see a switch from that Dragon. The Slamamander is coming in, the windiest of the 2 slaps. Replicant going to stick with the Powerballer and gets the rush as well. Sent Riffa all the way back to the other side of the arena. Pretty much all of the pillars are down, bar 1, I think, just on Riffa's left-hand side there. But yeah, Replicant proving a much better fight here. I think the arm switch is not working for Riffa in the slightest here. Maybe should have stuck with the Dragon. Tried to mix things up to keep Replica guessing, but inadvertently has kind of given this to Replicant's advantage. Powerball just drifting off to the left-hand side of Riffa, who's just trying to get a couple of consistent hits in here. Replicant again, just thrown out so quickly. They've already got that rush ready to go once more. And whilst Riffa is finally finding a way through, they've got a fair bit of health to try and chip away there. Thankfully, the Powerball not at full charge, otherwise that might have been a little bit more scarier. Does get the little hit in from the Popper. Riffa on the cusp of KO, and Replicant knows that, goes for the rush, gets the KO, got the successful juggle, and all of the damage going in, and Riffa is going to concede that point. So point number 3 coming up. And yep, as suspected, Riffa is going to switch straight on back to the Ice Dragon. The slam not working out as well for them as they would have probably liked to. And Replicant again has kind of like a little extra thing to bounce around, and I think Riffa knows that. Gets a laser on the pillar, but gets caught out by the Popper as a result. Had to quickly double back there to avoid getting caught with the shock of the Brella as well. Just see how quickly Replicant is coming out here. I think they know that they have to keep up this kind of momentum if they have any chance to at least stop Riffa from hitting them. Rush is going to come out, does get the shield up. Initially tagged them a little bit there, but Replicant gets away with it. Not so much on the next Dragon approach, and Riffa doubles on back, gets the shield up just out of range. Neither player really hitting anything with their rush here. Good grab attempt from Replicant, shifts the momentum onto their side of the field. And again, the Popper is doing what it needs to, hitting before the Dragon can get the laser out. It's so important that it does that, because it basically means that Riffa is not only losing time, but also taking more damage than they would really like to do so. And it puts them on the cusp of critical. Replicant has turned this beautifully around. That now takes us in to critical for Riffa. They do have rush to go. 15 seconds on the clock. They need to get a good couple of chains here and breaks the arm in the process. They are so close, and Replicant has rush as well. They're gonna go for it. So too is Riffa, and it's Riffa who gets the better of it and gets the KO. Oh, so many times we've seen someone leading on health. They go for the rush and they lose it via a counterplay from the opponent, and Riffa is gonna take that set by 2-0. Oh, it's always the way, and it's always against Riffa. Riffa always seems to have this thing of being able to take advantage of rush states like that, and it does mean that Riffa will once again be making it into the top 3 of this competition, of another event run by European Arms. Will they win the Invitational outright? Well, they are in winners final, so there's still a bit to go. But now we go and turn our attentions to the second semi-final match, which will be between Grimwood and Iceman. Grimwood beating Alistair by 2-1, so the above bracket have all been 2-0 so far. The bracket underneath those two have been 2-1 so far, so this bodes well for Grimwood and Iceman respectively. And as is, and you know, sometimes it's like this and sometimes it isn't, but the seedings once again are spot on. The top 4 seeds all made it through into the semi-finals respectively, so...
Alright, I'm back.
Nice, welcome on back.
Hello
I was beginning to think I was having to do a lot of it on my own.
Yeah, before we start the next match, I wanna try one thing to fix the audio possibly.
Okay. Do your thing.
Alright, can you say something?
I absolutely can. Hello, my friends. Hopefully everyone is enjoying the action so far.
Okay, so hopefully that means the audio is fixed for everyone. If it is, please tell in the chat.
Oh. Yay! Looks like we have it. Looks like the chat is agreeing with you. You fix it! Congrats!
Hey.
You got this.
And is Tamashi's audio not too high and not too low?
I mean, this is my audio we're talking about. Nihilus, we are waiting on you to join the lobby of Grimwood and Iceman.
I'm making my way to the lobby right now.
Turn the game audio slightly down, says Flashita. So the underground bracket, I should also probably let you all know, is also underway, and we have lost Okum already. Junior took them out by 2 points to 1, which means we have Alistair versus Yam going up in the other match. So remember, if you do want to check the bracket yourself, exclamation bracket in the chat, and you'll be able to watch the shenanigans unfold. Iceman as Min Min, Hydra and Toaster versus Grimwood as Coil, with what is essentially triple nades, since Coil has the winning ability to duplicate one of their arms. It is random on either side, but naturally, if you win in double gloves, you're gonna get 3 of them. So far off to a flying start for Grimwood, using Coil's wonderful aerial superiority to just keep Min Min down, not allow them to get the Dragon Arm up on the left hand side, basically cover buffs the arms, and obviously the Hydras are always a big box to do. That is some style point in and of itself. Arm goes down on the right hand side, but Iceman Grimwood thinks it's an easy rush, and Iceman actually gets the stop with the one remaining Hydra. Unfortunately for Iceman, they can't take advantage of the situation, going for a rush themselves. Grimwood gets the explosion to just stop Iceman dead in their tracks. They bounce around the pillar, but they immediately get walled in by Coil's just armada of nades. And that will take the initial point for Grimwood. Going into the next match, Iceman's going to come in with a big old glove, non-elemental naturally, but they've got it there to try and at least cover that little bit more ground, do that little bit more damage. But Grimwood's Coil is just unrelentless here, and already has Iceman down past the halfway mark. Does manage to cause a self-destruct of their own on the nade, and that's pretty much all the damage that they've done so far to Grimwood in this second point. Keeping that center stage, finally gets the knockdown and gets the Dragon Arm up, making that glove that little bit more intimidating. Weak though on that left hand side, they cannot allow Grimwood to take advantage of it. But again, another good grab from Coil sends Min Min back down to the bottom of the stairs. Rush is coming up, but Grimwood already has it on read, so Iceman decides to just quickly back it on up, get the Dragon Arm up, and just keep that advantage at least somewhat in line. The explosion caught Iceman. Grimwood tried to go for that pixel perfect juggle. Not to be on this occasion. Iceman gets the skill in the nick of time, but they are only a hit away from going down, and so far Wolves haven't been landing as consistently as they'd like to, and Min Min drops to the floor once again.
Thought you'd win, huh?
So, with that being done and dusted, Grimwood leads this set by 1 point. And remember that these are best of 3s up until the winner's final, at which point we will then switch it to best of 5s. Rifa does await in winner's final. You get there, you're guaranteed a top 3 finish. Of that, there is no doubt. But what will be happening between the two now? Obviously, they've got their counter picks and their bands to decide on. And we are going to head on over to Sparring Ring, and Iceman with the character switch, as you would probably expect. Iceman being able to utilize a couple of different characters, one of those being Ribbon Girl. We're going to see a fiery armada. They got the Triblast done there as well. They're not going to bring it to the table just yet. Toaster and the hottest of slaps. We saw the slam earlier. Now we get the slap, and immediately makes contact with Coil. sending her straight down onto the ground. Grimwood's going to come up with two very different arms. One is the chakram, and the other one you can see there, another big old non-elemental glove. Again, packing in so much power. So basically, both will have a curved tool in the form of the slap and the ram, and both with a glove, albeit coils that's a little bit more bigger. And Rush is going to come out from coil, immediately pins Iceman straight back into that corner. Iceman going past the halfway mark. But having said that though, Iceman has done a fair amount of damage in and of itself, even without the Rush being utilized just yet. They are going to go for it now, but again, Grimwood gets the shield at the time. Coil gets pinned into the corner, chip damage, and nothing more than that. But with the hot slap, you have to always be careful with that, especially considering the fire element. And it really means that if this does hit Coil in its charge for sake, Coil will just immediately hit the deck. And Grimwood does not want to see that happen. I said that though, both arms weak, could force a shield break, and they're thought about going for it, but instead it just walls off the shield. Both arms still very much weak, but Grimwood hanging on in there. So too is Iceman. 12 seconds left on the clock. Now it's Iceman who has the advantage. They have Rush. They do take the arm down, and they are going to use the Rush to just pick up the free KO. Coil hits the deck. Iceman gets themselves a foothold into this set, and Grimwood goes back to the tried and trusted triple nade strategy. Iceman meanwhile gonna stick with the all-on fiery armada with that toaster and the hottest of slaps. Again, just picking up another shield, and the nade explodes straight into Ripgold's face, and another one just catches them in the midst of their rebound jump. Just unfortunate to see that, but again, just how aggressive Grimwood plays this Coil. The second they have a moment, they're going to go for it, and the hottest of slaps is going to floor Coil in the midst of their rush, and no damage done. Although again, it's almost like they don't even need it, because the explosion from nades are just proving a little too much for Iceman here. But they are starting to make it work though. Trying to play that a little bit more aggressively. Goes for the rush. But it's just going to be chip damage and nothing more against Grimwood, who has Rush right back at them. And that is going to be a whole lot of damage. 250 sent Iceman right into critical grenade. Just about dipping underneath. And Iceman still utilizing Ripgold's wonderful agility to actually get into places that Grimwood maybe doesn't quite have an answer for here. Pinned into the corner. The hot slap connects. And we are going to see match number 3, my friend.
Swish, swish. Go, girl.
So that is one apiece. I love the fact that the top half of this bracket have been all 2-0s, and the bottom half of this bracket has all been 2-1s. That is quite amusing to see that. It's nice to see that in perfect symmetry. And now it will be Grimwood to pick from the 5 stages, and we are headed in to Buster Beach. Ripgirl versus Coil once again. We'll see if Iceman can keep up this pressure, keep up this tenacity that they are bringing to the table, or Grimwood is going to find another strategy with the Coil. And this one is going to be Coolerang and Hydra. Those 2 arms that are really going to annoy Ripgirl here. Obviously, she likes to be in the air just as much as Coil does, and obviously, you either get 6 vertical bolts, or you're just going to get 2 boomerangs. There's going to be a lot of space in the air, just covered by what Coil is flinging on into the table, and they're going to pin Iceman into the hot pocket. Finally does ping back into the center, but look at the damage that has already been done by Coil. As Iceman drops back down and they're into the hot pocket again. And Grimwood is just styling at this point. Finally does get caught by one of the toasters, missing both of their double commitments. They must have thought that Iceman would have been there for the taking there. just missing out on those attacks, but again, the health lead is still very much there. Only looking for maybe a punch or two, or definitely one more punch. Now the cooldown was not enough to get the KO, so anything else will do at this point. And it will be the Hydra to run clean through ribbon. So Iceman finally will bring the Tri-Blast into the thick of things. Tri-Blast and the hardest of slaps. So they are really playing the boxing glove. And to be fair, neither is Grimwood, to be honest. They are both coming in with a lot of different utilities. We've got the Hydra versus the Tri-Blast, and we've got the Hot Slap versus the Coolerang, which immediately finds its mark. Look at the damage just immediately tick on up there. Iceman, well, they did do some decent damage, but suddenly, just like that, Toyo has momentum. This is going to come up, but again, perfectly read by Grimwood. Both arms weak, so it needs to be a little careful here because Iceman will sense the chance to go for the break, but Grimwood knows that, tries to come up as aggressive as possible, and another rush lands. So much successful juggling with these rushes, 360. One more hit from Grimwood is all that is needed. But Iceman not out of this yet. They can still do this. They've got to survive a few more seconds to get that rush charged up and ready to go, especially since Grimwood is on the cusp of that KO if Iceman can make it. But the Hydra's gonna hit them just as they get it charged up. And it does mean that Grimwood is going to knock Iceman down into the underground bracket. The top two seeds are into winners final. So the matches will remain. So the matches will be like this: winners final. Top three contention. I say top three contention. This is for the grand final placement. It is Riffa versus Grimwood. In the underground bracket, Junior beat Ockham by 2 points to 1, and Alistair beat Yam by 2 points to 1. So they will both advance through. So it will be Iceman to go up against Junior in underground round 2. Replicant will take on Alistair in their match in underground round 2. The two winners of that will move on to underground semi-final and also into the top 4. They will then play out for a chance to make it into top 3 to finally get onto that podium step. Which one will make it between those 4? We will soon find out. You can check in on them with explanation bracket if you so wish. But without further ado, we are going to move into winners final to determine who will make it into the grands. Will it be the Revolution himself, Riffa, or will Grimwood spring in a surprise of their own and chop Riffa down into the underground bracket? We will find out in just a moment. Nihilus, do we have you back yet?
Technically I'm here. But unfortunately there's this issue where the game audio is too high, but I'm not gonna bother to fix it anymore. So yeah, we'll just commentate from here.
Okie dokie, and well, you're just in time then because the winner's final match is finally underway. It is going to be Coil versus Ninjara. It is going to be Funchuck and Toaster to go up against the Tri-Blast and the Ice Dragon. We've seen the Birdchuck a lot so far today, but now we get to see its stunning counterpart. And already living up to its name, does catch the stun on Ninjara. Just missing with the bolts. It is quite nice to have the horizontal bolts go up against somebody who likes to be in the air and moving around as much as Coil, but so far Grimwood is not allowing it to bother them as much.
Yeah, both. We are already 30 seconds in, and both are at quite high health.
Yeah, Riffer's finally starting to put a little bit more chains together at this point. 35 seconds on the clock. And Grimwood just sort of like trying to bait out a response from Riffer, but instead Riffer just goes, alright, fine, you're close enough to me. I will just grab you and wrestle control right away from you. Grimwood into critical, not away past the trampoline, so it's not going to bring that into play anytime soon. The Tri-Blast does its damage, then it explodes, and then, naturally, it KOs Coil.
Yeah, with Tri-Blast being a really good arm versus Coil because of how horizontal it is, it's quite easy to catch Coil from the air that way.
And Grimwood does a bait for the second time, but this time it does pay off. Riffer did try to go for the punish, gets caught by the rush, but immediately fires back with one of their own, 380, and that is the difference in damage already. Riffer on 75%, Grimwood, well, pretty much on the cusp of critical at this point.
Yeah, Riffa constantly chipping Grimwood off and off, but Grimwood does find a grab, and he has a rush coming up, so this may be a possibility for him to make a comeback.
He certainly could, and obviously Riffer is on the cusp of a KO if it can land, but obviously Riffer has the rush of their own. They will not be afraid to utilize it if they need to. But obviously Grimwood is in the more precarious position, but does get the rush. 240, it wasn't enough for the KO. So they're gonna have to really hope that Riffer does not catch them by surprise here. Riffer just gets another quick little teleport. The Tri-Bolt's just about missing. Arm weak on the left hand side, and finally the pressure catches up to him.
Yeah, Riffa seeming to try to approach, but unfortunately Grim was able to get a hit in and win the second round.
Absolutely, and we are going to see the Tri-Bolt continue to come out for Grimwood again, just having a stun arm. It does help. Both are going to go for that rush attempt, but Grimwood unfortunately caught out by the dragon, couldn't get any damage, tried to get a little greedy there. I understood what they were going for, but Riffer unfortunately is always going to have the advantage there. Now Dan's just hugging the walls for dear life at this point, both trying to find a purchase on their respective voltage. Riffer, who's getting the most consistent hits in so far, and another little tap from the bolt as well as just catching Coil off guard every now and then. Again, another little 1-2 chain from the bolt and the dragon, and you can see why Riffer is just always wanting to go back to use these arms because he's always so consistent with them. Rush finally does find a hit in with 175, but Toaster does deal a fair amount of damage in and of itself. 33 seconds left on the clock, but Riffer again just continues to have their health, he continues to play at their own pace, and the Rush not going to hit this time around, but gets a little extra purchase on the final knock.
Yeah, Riffa had the ability to seal off this game quick with the Rush. But now that his rush is gone, Grimwood may have a possibility to bring it back because Grimwood's rush is also up. And one hit may take it from Grimwood.
Well, he's got 5 seconds and he has to go for this, and Riffer, no. Oh, Riffer's gonna get caught! Now, will this be it? No,
oh, that is not enough.
You'll see on the replay, the ball literally just hits the wall right behind Riffer. And Riffer will get away with that and win the first point.
Yeah, those were some really close games.
You gotta feel for Grimwood there. Like the second you have Ninjara pinned down, you can finally start to go in for the rush. When you see like the finishing blow, just suddenly decide, you know what? I'm just not gonna hit him this time. It's just like, oh well, there it goes. Here comes that luck that Riffer always just gets right towards the end every now and then. Riffer gonna bring in the same arsenal as always. Grimwood's gonna come in with the Chakram. It did work initially in the first part of the previous match, so we'll see how it gets utilized this time around. Does get the stun, and Riffer couldn't punish it the first time around, could punish it the second time around with that grab. And again, Riffer, just one of those mentalities of anything you can do, I can do just as well. But again, another Chakram hit catches Riffer off guard, and it's been a bit more of a, dare I say it, a sloppier match for Riffer. being caught by the chakram just a little too many times, and that is a KO grab.
Too easy.
Some very tasty chains there from Grimwood, and really caught Ripper by surprise, slowed that right down into their momentum. And Grimwood does finally get caught on the knockdown. Not gonna let the dragon catch them though. 270.
Yeah, something also. Oh, Ripper getting a really nice rushing against Grimwood. Both at quite even health right now. But Grimwood is getting some hits in and bringing Ripper down to health.
Make that another quick little 1-2 chain. Both really are just on similar health here, but those bolts are finally starting to find their way through. But again, Ripper goes for the jump and gets caught at the last possible second.
Yeah.
And it really is, it's hard to choose between these two here because, oh, Grimwood's going to go for it, but Ripper is just going to bolt all the way out. Does finally get caught by 80, but it's not the damage that Grimwood would have liked to have had.
And both at critical health right now, but Ripper does have the possibility to throw out his rush.
He absolutely does, and he will need to if he wants to keep this set in favor of the rush. Oh, not gonna hit.
That is really unfortunate.
But it's still not over yet. If anybody can still win this, it's Ripper, and they break the arm as well. It's not quite enough to take the health lead, and with 20 seconds on the clock, all Grimwood needs to do is just find one more hit, but they cannot afford to let Ripper get away with it. They are going to sidestep, but they're not going to take damage either. But Ripper couldn't get the counter hit either, so crucially... Oh, it's an explosion!
That is gonna be a round for Grim.
Oh, it's the self-destruct that cost Ripper. The explosive arms are always do run that risk-reward factor where if it does get activated and it does get disarmed on you, it will just explode in your face. And we have seen self-destruct KOs in the past, but that is the first one for tonight.
And as many others have noted, it's quite a habit between Grimwood and Ripper to always go to Masu. Which is, in some ways, really interesting.
On one hand, yes, but on the other hand, it's just it's mausoleum.
Yeah, of course. It's the most offensive and defensive stage at the same time.
Especially when that trampoline gets involved, it completely turns the complexion of the match. And obviously, a character like Grimwood, a character like Coil, is just gonna laugh at that trampoline while still up above. Rush is gonna come out, does finally connect onto Ripper, who sees their health half. Grimwood keeping momentum on their side for the time being. Just Ripper can't quite get the consistency of the dragon going at the moment. Grimwood being a lot more mobile here.
Yeah, Grimwood having quite a health lead, but Ripper trying to aim for a confirm. Unfortunately, does not hit. Grimwood is gonna come back with one of his own, and that is gonna be the KO for Ripper.
Okay. Able to take that in the end, and Ripper is gonna make a decision to ditch the dragon at this point, bring it in the windiest of slams. And Grimwood pretty much sticking with what is really working for them at this point. The Chakram and the Toaster really keeping Ripper on speed dial. Finally does get caught, and again just inadvertently drops the shield at the worst possible time. And now the Tri-Blast are really coming into their own here. A good rush combination from Ripper gets Grimwood pretty much on the cusp of critical. Now it's Grimwood's turn to go for it, and finally does catch up, but only 130 after still a lot of health to try and push on back, and they could not retreat quick enough in that Tri-Blast. Again, just jump straight back on into it.
Yeah.
And Ripper is suddenly getting way too consistent with those bolts.
Grimwood making a lot of attempts to approach Ripper, but Ripper just says no and constantly throws out those Tri-Blasts.
Grimwood is going to stick with the Chakram and the Toaster, but Ripper now totally riding a lot more momentum, completely different playstyle than they would have had with the Dragon equipped. You can see how much more they're trying to poke their way on through. The Tri-Blast really have been Grimwood's Achilles heel so far. and it wasn't a self-destruct or two of their own. Again, they certainly came in clutch for them in the initial point that they took away from Riffa. Both with Rush ready to go. Champlain isn't really going to be making an appearance in this matchup, so it's really just down to who is going to bite first, who is going to blink in terms of their Rush usage at this point.
Yeah, this being a game of who can poke best. Riffa getting a few trial blasts in here and there, but Grimwood also gets some punches in.
Yeah, the Toasters are fighting their way through a little bit more than I think Riffa would really like them to, and Riffa is going to lose their health lead as a result, and Rush comes in as well! Perfectly read there from Grimwood. Riffa committed, and they had nothing they could do about it. The arm is also weak on the right-hand side for Riffa, they'll certainly not like that. Anything for Grimwood here will take the lead away from Riffa, and it does!
And that means 2-1 for Grimwood. And my question is this a best of 5 or a best of 3?
It is a best of 5. Once we hit winners final, it will always be the best of 5, which is why they both ready straight back up. Neither want to switch arms, neither want to switch stage. It's always the same band, it's always the same stage between these two. And for Riffa, they are going to see if they can pull this back. They are going to switch back to the ice track and maybe try and catch Grimwood off guard and switch up the style, but Grimwood is going right on in with the aggression here. They're going close quarters, a big time. Finally gets caught out with the 1-2 chain of that bolt and the dragon. So Grimwood just taking a quick little backseat there, but very much starting out the stronger there. Weak on the right hand side, it will finally fade away as the Chakram Stun does catch Riffa off guard again. Not quite get the punish that they were looking for, but again the health lead is there, and again just catches Ninjara just as they go for the jump, and Riffa already into critical as Grimwood gets caught with the explosion and land on the central platform. Switching back to the dragon, is having an even harder time here, and Grimwood is on set point.
Yeah, Grimwood always hugging the walls kinda. With Riffa not being able to approach, and that could have been a confirm, but it wasn't.
Yeah, they did try to go for the explosion knockback into the jug, but unfortunately couldn't quite get it on that occasion either. It's a hard trick to pull off, but if you do, the damage is absolutely clear to see. Gets kind of grazed by the ball, but does manage to get away from that as well, so neither party landed anything with their rush. And again, the Chakram just catches Riffa in the air. And second time's the charm does get the rush on this occasion. Riffa past the halfway mark, inching ever so close towards critical. Arm weak on the right hand side for Grimwood, and Riffa trying to keep it alive, but does find the fade away.
Yeah, it's right at this moment, it's looking quite a little bit better for Riffa, but he has still a long way to go to possibly take Grimwood from this round.
And we'll soon find out. Grimwood goes underneath the halfway mark, Riffa into critical, and Grimwood does have rush to go as well. And with 25 seconds on the clock, Grimwood knows that it's Riffa who has to make these plays now. They have to be the one to be aggressive, and caught by the stun as well. That is definitely not going to help Riffa. The number 1 seed is very, very close to being knocked into Underground Final. Rush is going to come out, but bad placement means that Grimwood is going to shield it. They're going to come out. They get the KO, and Riffa, who hasn't been able to stop winning for such a long time, finds themselves knocked into Underground Final for the first time in ages.
What a turn of events.
So, it can be done. Riffa can be bested, and as a result, he will have to fight to get into Grand Finals via the Underground Final. It means that Grimwood will be waiting in Grands. Could we have another different winner in the PR Invitational? That you would love to see. But meanwhile, we are going to wait for a couple of more matches. Iceman has taken out Junior by 2 points to 0, so Junior will exit this competition. But who will be joining them? Replicant and Alistair are still fighting, so if you want to have a look to see what is going on down there, exclamation bracket, we are waiting for results as we speak. Just gonna quickly have a look-see to see what the situation is. Obviously that's the chat between those two. Don't know if that match is still going on. So we are just waiting for that one. I think whilst we wait for that to resolve, I think we'll have a quick little breather, and when we come back, I think we'll get ourselves started for the underground semi-final.
Indeed. We will be right back.
Apparently the audio doubled again.
And we are back. Because apparently some round is in losers round 3 is not finished yet. Something, Alistair versus Replicant something.
Subtle. So it does mean that we are going to gear up for that matchup. So Underground round 2, it will be Replicant to take on Alistair. I'm just going to wait to see what the code for that is, since neither of the competitors have spoken up just yet. So hopefully we can have them in as soon as possible. But yeah, just as a heads up, hello, I'm still Layla, aka Tamasha Kancho, and Nihilus is still with me, doing their absolute best to keep this stream running smoothly.
Of course, my pleasure.
And it looks like the chat agrees. The chat is very much happy with how things are going, so that's always good to hear. Hopefully everyone is having a very good time. For those of you who are just joining in now, we have finished the top part of the bracket. We have finished winners final, and Riffa, the man who just doesn't seem to know how to lose lately, finally has lost. They finally got knocked out of winners final. It feels like an eternity since that's happened, but Grimwood has defeated them by 3 points to 1. Coil seriously keeping Riffa on their toes. We've seen Riffa be able to best them before, but on this occasion, that little bit of consistency, those chakrams have really been helping Grimwood with that playstyle.
I will drop the code in stream chat. Apparently they were already having a round before I joined.
Oh, good. Do we know what the score is then?
I didn't notice. Who won?
I think I see. Okay, I think I see why the matchup is taking as long as it is because we have some lag issues, which is what's happening there. That's why this matchup has been taking a while. That's okay, these things do indeed happen. Hopefully we can get that ironed out as soon as possible. But yeah, in the meantime, we are going to have Grimwood into Grands. Riffa will be waiting in the underground final. Like I said, once you make it to that top cut, you only go as far down as third if you do lose. So it's still, you're guaranteed the podium whatever happens. So Riffa will be waiting the winner of the underground side of things. We know Iceman is currently sitting in the underground semi-final. They will take on the winner of Replicant versus Alistair. Which is currently going through a lag dispute, I do believe. So we will see how that one plays out, but hopefully we'll have an update for you very soon. But until that is sorted, Nihilus, have you been keeping an eye on the competition as of late? Do we know if any other tournaments are still going on?
That is a very good question indeed. We have champions of the European... I forgot the name, I think. Champions of the European Union?
There you go.
Which is a tournament run by Airwolf, which is a very known ARMS TO in the American ARMS scene, and she started running EU tournaments as of recently, once again.
Which has been awesome to see that. I know Maliv is currently in the process of doing the scrap start as well, so there's definitely a lot of competitions happening in the EU side of things lately, so always a good chance to just sort of like jump on in, even if you are new to the community and you're not entirely sure where to start. Sometimes throwing yourself into the deep end can help. Obviously it's very intimidating to do so, but we're a very friendly and close-knit community, and there's a lot of people out there who will gladly give you tips and advice, so never be afraid on that one.
Indeed. And then you also have the ancient EU ARMS Challenge, which has been around since, I believe, August of 2017. And has always been running since then.
It has been a lot of fun, I'm not going to lie. It's been great to be able to cast so many of these cups up to this point. Like I said, last week we had our 60th installment. Next week, we will have our 61st installment. That will be on Sunday. For those of you who are new, the Challenge Cup runs every Sunday fortnightly, which is 2 weeks for those who don't know what that term means. So yeah, the next one will be next week. They generally run at, my time is 2 p.m. GMT, but I think the official time is like 3 p.m. Oh, what's the time zone that they normally use? I forget. What's the time that they normally plot these? The time zone they use? I keep forgetting. CET. That was it.
Yeah. A few weeks ago it was CEST, which stands for Central European Summertime.
Yeah, which is why I had to convert it into BST, which is British Saving Times, because yay, saving times! Woo!
Hold on, I'm back in the second.
I feel like we both picked up noises at the same time because fireworks have just started outside my house, which isn't great. I'm not entirely sure if anybody picked up on the fireworks there, but they were definitely ringing on through. So yeah, now that saving times is out the way, we're all back to our normal timestamp. So for me in the UK, it is back to GMT, which is nice. So yeah, we've got that coming on up, and obviously each of each of these cups will have PR point, which is what you can earn to try and place higher up on that leaderboard. Obviously, the top 10 get featured in their own standalone picture, and the top 8 will get priority into the PR Invitational that will happen at the end of each respective season. If anybody in the top 8 can't make it, then it then falls to those who are 9th and 10th respectively, which is why we have this wonderful situation where Yam and Akrim both made it into this competition, because those in the top 8, which were Kosalina and Rafa, I do believe? I think it was Rafa. Neither of them were able to compete, which is why they then got the nod up. Unfortunately, both Akrim and Yam did fall out in the initial segments. But it has been great seeing them, and honestly, they've both put in a good amount of work there. Yam, at least scoring a point against both Iceman and Alistair in their quest to try and do what they can. Akrim also managed to get a point against Junior as well, despite losing 2-0 to Replicants. So everybody's still giving it their all, and it's clear to see that everybody in this community, they're striving to improve every single week, which is good to see.
I will be back in 5 minutes, because something requires my attention, so if any set starts until then, just know that I'm back in a few minutes.
That is absolutely fine. To be fair, we are still waiting on confirmation. Yeah, we're still waiting on confirmation as to what will be happening between Alistair and Replicants. I know we've got our moderators, and I know Akrim is also helping to just figure out what will be happening down there. We are approaching 7:30 in the evening here, and hopefully when Nihilus comes back, if he makes it back in time, that's cool. If he doesn't, then we get to follow on through things as is usually the case. So again, I do apologize for the wait. It's just these things happen. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. It would not be a competitive tournament if there wasn't at least a couple issues that do come up from time to time. And it looks like the matchup will be restarted. I don't quite know what the set is currently on score-wise. But it looks like the dispute is basically going the way of this. If there are any more issues going on forward, then the set will go to Replicant, which means that the top 4 seeds will indeed be finishing in the top 4 spot as was previously set up. Alistair is 1-0 up, apparently. So Alistair is currently leading the set by 1 point to 0. But also has that unfortunate threat that if they do, if DCs and lags do happen again, then they may forfeit the point to Replicant. So there's a lot to be looking out for here. Get some hammers up there. Everybody's just ready to cave in. We're still waiting on a code between the two. Replicant does have a lobby up. I don't know if it'll be the same password. I guess I can always find out. What was the old password? Let me see if that is still the same password. Okay, there it is. Yep, that is indeed the correct password, and we got in. Oh, we did not get in time. They have already started their match, so yeah, unfortunately they did not wait for us. They've just started their match anyway, so. Change the script to just chatting. I mean, unfortunately, I can't do that either. I unfortunately can't do that either because for once I do not have control of the stream, and that is because unfortunately I actually don't have as much time as I'd like to this evening. So once Nihilus is back, Nihilus will be taking you through the top part of the segments on their own stuff, and normally it's normally I'm here for the grand scheme of things, but it's also nice to have somebody else have control of the stream for once, just to sort of like have things a little bit more laid back. But yeah, we're having fun so far tonight, and now it's like Nihilus is back. Hello.
Hello there.
So lag disputes and the match started before we could join in anyway. The set is currently 1 apiece, so it's 1-1. Alistair was leading, but more lag disputes means that the point goes to Replicant. So yeah, that's where we currently stand. Okay, I think we can join. Oh no, we can't.
No, there's still not a lobby up.
I think after this match is done and dusted, I think you will be on your own for the rest of it.
That is correct.
You'll be fine. You'll do absolutely fine.
Yeah. I'll just pit somewhere so it'll be fine.
I believe in you. Just looking out for Rep's name. There's Rep's name. Password will still be the same. I think they've posted it into... the code's in Arena 4, as a heads up. Not in Stream Arena.
Hello.
Yeah, the lobby still isn't up yet. I'm actually surprised it's taken.
The lobby is up actually, but only Alistair is in it.
Ah, that's why.
But do I have you friended?
No, surprisingly you don't. We've been able to join in the lobbies just by joining the players because I have all of the players added at this point.
Except for me.
Just quite amusing. And Alistair apparently. Apparently I had Alistair added, but they're not showing on my friend list, so I just have to wait for a replicant.
Yeah.
Which isn't the end of the world. Oh.
Replicant should be in the lobby right now.
There we go. Yeah, he is. I can now join you. So, to reiterate, this is to decide who will be making it through to top 4 and who will be going up against Iceman to see who can book their ticket into the underground final. Remember, this is still best of 3, so too will the semi-final that will be coming up. So, let's see how this all plays out, shall we?
Alright, both running up, and my question is, what is the score? Or are they resetting?
It's 1-1. It is currently 1 apiece, so the winner will take it. Coil for Alistair. We've got Burchuck, Nade, and what was that other arm? I saw that. It was the Roaster, so 2 of the unguided arms on there. Meanwhile, Replica, we got the Popper, and we got the... not the Seeky, it's the Homie. So, Missile with full guidance, it will completely auto-lock on, as you can see, it straight up goes straight towards the target, and a lot of explosive power behind it. So, Replica going for a quick fire and arm with the Popper, and then all of the explosive damage. Meanwhile, Coil is, well, Coil, and especially with the Burchuck, not the Burchuck, the Funchuck, and long-range grabs like that, Alistair is going to see if they can whittle Replicant down bit by bit. About able to get the shield up on the missile. Does get tagged by the Popper though, and once again I can definitely see where the disputes have been coming in. It's a little bit twitchy on both sides of the field, but so far it's relatively smooth. The missile just swamping right into Alistair's camera, just about gets away with it, but can't get rush damage onto Replica, but they could definitely snap that. 425!
And can we talk about how clean that rush was? Because I love that.
That was awesome. Being able to catch with the Popper, sends Coil up as high as possible, and caught it on the second time of asking, which means 2 hasty missile explosions. And like I said, a rush that goes over 400 damage, always on point.
Yeah, Replica playing the patient game. And Alistair constantly falling for it, but Replica's on critical health right now. Could bring it back, but Russia is gonna miss. Does Alistair...
But the chip damage, however, has taken it down, but Alistair will just about take it.
Alistair only exceeds by around 10 health.
That was very close. That was like millimeters away. Replica just needed a little bit more damage to take that overboard, but Alistair does take the point just in the nick of time. And as for arm switches, we are going to see the Roaster and the Funchuck coming out once again. And immediately the exchange, you always love to see it when that happens. Both hitting in with their charge attacks, both flooring each other as a result. A complete full-on trade between the two. Rush comes out, shield damage, and nothing more than that. So far, keeping the missile under control for the time being, Alistair, as Replicant tries to bounce their way along the walls, try to keep Coil guessing at every step of the way, but so far, Alistair has control, but quickly loses it with 450 this time.
Replicant's really capable of dealing those high damage rushes. Especially with an arm like Homie, it's really hard to pull off.
But if you could do it, it's so satisfying to see. And just watch all that health just drip away, and Alistair deep into critical does have rush of their own to go. Replica just sidestepping the deal. I'm hoping that they can find a way to poke on through again. But again, missile just gonna get punched out, but Alistair now just a poke away from going down here, and we'll see yet another tied position between these two fighters, and the popper does find a connection.
Yeah, that popper, light armors being as they are, really sneaky, especially when uncharged.
Absolutely, and both fighters are going to be ready to go. Neither really switching from what is working for them, and Replicant really finding their rhythm with this combination now. But Alistair going to find their way through, commits to the attack. Replicant couldn't do anything about it, has to go down to the rush. They'll have theirs as backup, which you know for a fact that Popper can find a way of hitting and juggling Alistair. You know there'll be a follow-up for it. Just caught on the explosion again, and Alistair trying to maintain position. Rush comes out, no purchase this time for Replicant. Another missile tag, the explosion buffers Alistair a little bit, but again, the little consistency with the gloves, Alistair just about keeping up to it. But again, another direct homie is going to pop them on the back burner, but not really for long, because the rush just completely obliterates through Replicant and sends them into critical. Just one more poke is all Alistair is looking for, but does get caught again with the popper. Make that 2 popper hit in a row for Replicant. They have to be so careful with 30 seconds left on the clock. What about going for it? They do now have rush available. Alistair won't be too far behind, commits to it, and actually tags him with the explosion. Couldn't quite get the second, now has the shield. This could be a shield break, and it is, and it's a KO.
Wow, Alistair immediately bringing out that rush after being knocked down, and somehow it worked and connected to Replicant. And that means Alistair is the winner of this set and is going to face off Iceman in round 3, I believe, losers round.
Yeah, that was a very intense finish. Both pretty much coming out with back-to-back rushes there. In the end, it goes the way of Alistair. I'm just checking the Discord chat. We may have a VAR decision going on. I'm not 100% sure what is happening in there. So
yeah, from the looks of it, there are still connection issues going on. So yeah, we're gonna be waiting through a lag dispute again, I suppose.
Well, we've got our wonderful chat to see that entire matchup. There was definitely a couple of twitchy moments at the beginning. It definitely seemed to get better as the match went on. So we're just waiting to see what everyone's decision is. Whether it will be another reset play or whether or not it will be a done and done deal. And everybody has dropped out, so I'm just trying to figure out what the situation is going to be. Alistair saying if that match was bad, Rep can take it. So there is that.
That was up to the TOs to decide.
Yeah. But the TOs get the deciding vote, and that's always the most intimidating part, isn't it, for an organizer? Okay, with that, I am going to have to bounce. So you are going to have to now deal with this for the rest of the tournament.
Alright, yeah, thanks for the good luck.
No worries, thank you once again for having me. Sorry I could be here for the full one this time around. It's just one of those things. Please continue to have further support the community where you can. And Nihilus, good luck. Take it from here, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you for commentating with me.
No worries.
meaning that Mash's audio doesn't go through the desktop audio anymore. Means I may be able. Alright. Of course I will check the badges. What do we have here? That is pretty progress indeed, Raziel. Oh yeah, and since Akram said this in chat, my deed must be done. You thought that GG's replicant was a funny meme. Now GG's res, that's a whole other level. And while we wait, let's take this opportunity to look at the bracket. As you see here, we have Rifa versus Junior, which we had the first round. And Akram, which we haven't seen much in the tournament actually, which was taken down by Replicants early on, just to be defeated by Junior later on. And Junior is unfortunately knocked out of the tournament. So his legacy from the last EU PR Invitational unfortunately does not live on. Anyways, back to the game screen. Alright, the results are known between Replicant and Alistair, and due to the lag, Replicant is advancing and is going to face Iceman in Losers Round 3, aka Losers Semifinals. Iceman, you starting that lobby while we're the only two here is kinda intimidating, you know? As if you're asking me for a challenge. No Ras, the Snake Park is illegal. Or as you may call it, Snack Pork. I see your Snake Park, but like, have you ever heard of cinema? Like cinema, oh boy. Alright, and we are starting. Both rocking their actual mains. I don't know if Iceman mains Remingos these days, but we'll see how he holds up with his Legacy main. Yeah, Iceman mostly rocking his classic playstyle with a Ribbon Girl. A lot of fast falls and basically following the basic principle of how a competitive Ribbon Girl should be played. excuse me for the silence. I was distracted by something else for a minute, but I'm back. We have seen a lot of even games this tournament, and this set is not any different from Iceman and Replicant constantly blowing punches to each other, but at the same time also staying at even health. But at this moment, Iceman does have the health lead though, but Replicant does bring a few charged pokés in. And this is what you may consider like a very defensive game, as both focus around defensive playstyles. And the defensive playstyles, it's really important to box out your opponent, or a game of who can box out their opponents the best. And in that round, Iceman was the person to box out the opponent. Both having rush while also staying at recently high health, but Replicant having a hard time approaching because that Shiki keeps catching super dashes. But Replicant does get a few hits in from that rush, but unfortunately Iceman escapes because of how tiny Rhythm Girl's hitbox is. Iceman does need out that rush, but unfortunately does not. Replicant shields that rush, and he still has a rush of his own. Activates it now. Iceman escapes from it fully. Since there are only 10 seconds left, Iceman can pretty much only like outrange the opponents, and that will be an easy win. But Replicant does try to get the final approach in. Unfortunately, it does not work, and it ends up on Iceman winning this set with only 2 more sets to go, because I believe this is a best of 3. And we're going to Maso again. How many times have we seen Maso today? Like 10 times, I think, maybe more. Replicant getting a few little pokes in from the Hydra. Does catch Iceman really nicely with that boomerang. Replicant at the moment kind of figuring out at what moments Iceman jumps. Because at the moment Iceman jumps, Replicant knows how to really time that Hydra well. Replicant going for a super dash into a rush. Iceman does not get catched in it too fully. And that was a really well placed nade hit. And another one. But probably that is unfortunately not going to be enough for Iceman to win that round. Iceman does have a rush coming up this round though, so it could be advantageous to her. That was a really nice cheeky hit, but Replicant still does have a rush of his own. Doesn't decide to approach this time though, but now he does. And he has that cooler ring which covers a lot of space when cornered, and that is a really nice rush hit. 3:35, yes. Then those are the results of using explosive arms way too close, because you could end up in it yourself.
Super duper!
And this next match is gonna decide who is gonna win this set once and for all. As both opponents have been trading blows left and right. And Iceman bringing out the Min-Min. And I don't believe I've ever seen Iceman with Tribal before, so that's really interesting. But Iceman does always rock that Ice Dragon, which at times can be surprisingly good as a defensive Min-Min. Replicant rocking completely ice though. Iceman catching Replicant in the air, also getting a double hitting with the Ice Dragon and Tribolt. Replicant having a hard time avoiding those charged Tribolts, which are really big in Gurf, especially when Iceman has his Dragon Arm up. Iceman getting the first few hits in, but Replicant also gets in that Hydra. Almost all tubes, almost destroyed. Soon there will be nowhere to hide. Iceman was cornered a few seconds ago, but managed to escape with the very long min-min air dash, which is quite punishable, but can cover quite some distance. Both opponents really neck and neck, with this being the final round, and it's gonna decide once and for all who is gonna win this set and move on to the losers finals. Iceman having a hard time charging up that Dragon Arm, so he goes completely in offense, but Replicant sees that and punishes him with the rush. This may be an opportunity for Iceman to bring it back, having now cornered Replicant. And that is gonna be another landing grab. Replicant may have had the opportunity to escape from that, as the stun ended a little bit before the grab landed. And Replicant is gonna take that set and move on to the losers finals against Rifa, I believe, which took down Grimwood in the semifinals, surprisingly enough. Alright. Both players, Refa and Replicant, ready to go to DNA once more. For Refa, DNA Lab being a reasonable choice because the dragon really excels among pillars. Oh, that was some really nice patience there from Replicant. Just standing still and waiting for his opponent to make his move. Also, I hope Hannah sees this. That parabola Lola will sure get him excited. Oh, Refi grabbing Replicant really nicely after that wake up. But the Replicant does have some punches to throw himself. And dodging those punches left and right really nicely in a very closely. Which is really impressive to do, as that might be really reaction based. Refa playing the patient game until the timer runs out, which is quite a reasonable strategy. Oh, Replica getting caught up in that Ice Dragon after bouncing. That Parabola really helping Replicant, but Refa does throw a Russian, which is gonna take heavy damage on that Lola. Yeah, that Parabola might be helping Replicant in a lot of ways, because it covers the Ice Dragon. Oh, Replicant being a little bit too late to catch Riff with that rush. But in terms of health, both are still pretty even. Refa having a decently sizable lead. But that rush from Refa didn't hit very fully, which may give Replicant an opportunity to bring this back. But Refa playing a very runaway game, which doesn't give Replicant much opportunity to approach and get some hits in. Those might be the final hits. Replicant may be able to take. That grab is gonna have too long of an animation, which causes Refa to take that set. Or that game, I should say. And for this entire game, I realized I didn't update scores. Sorry about that. Both are ready to get back in the ring once more. And this time it's gonna be Temple Grounds. We're only 20 seconds in and Refa already put a lot of damage on Replicant by getting those grabs in again and again. Replicant does manage to get a foot of himself right now. And maybe able to pour some damage in, but Refa already did so much. This game really goes to show that how patient both players are, as it's a matter of a lot of walking and analyzing the opponent's movements and reacting to every move the opponent is about to do by just walking. Replicant landing right into that rush that Refa just launched, which is gonna take significant damage on Replicant. But Replicant does have a rush of his own, which is gonna be a 360. Haha, Xbox 360, funny joke. Refa proceeds with a grab, but Replicant punches right through it with the lockjaw. And they're back to boxing again and again. Wow. That was quite a way to end the game. And I believe this is best of 5, so Replicant isn't over this yet. And they're going back to Temple again. No changes to everyone's sense whatsoever. Replicant just relying on to adapt to the opponent the classic way. We're just sticking to his guns and making an attempt to adapt to Refa. But Refa, being the monster as he is, already got Replicant to 25% health, or as you could say 1% health right now. Replicant jumps into that Ice Dragon and wow, that is a perfect from Refa. Yeah, Replicant being in quite a panic of what to do now. But he does pour some damage in right now. A lot of double hits, but Refa reached that shield and grabs him to the ground. Replicant does get a very nice 360 rush in. And a shield and a stun to a grab, which means round 1. Yeah, Refa really being out for blood today. He really wants that revenge versus Grimwood. Wow, that was a really nice long-range grab. And Replicant just chilling actually. He's just vibing. He's having a very easy time dodging, just dodging shots. And getting some very nice hits in. And Refa is only... or I should say Refa is still at very high health. And that is a semi-perfect. Which means Refa is gonna rematch Grimwood in the Grand Finals. Oh no! Why do we have to do Grand Finals like this? Going to Maso again and again? What, like, play the game, dude! Just don't go to the same map in the... Oh my god. Why? Hereby I present to you, Maso, the game. There are no maps, only Maso. And coils and ninjaras. It makes you wonder, is this just to challenge each other, constantly going to Mazo, or is it just out of pure salt? Like, I don't get it either. I'm just confused as the viewers are. No, Rifa starting it off strong though, with very significant health lead. Fairwood's working the double glass, but being a different type, which is really interesting. Because it's not like working two different types of glass is not the kind of strategy. Just like, oh, how do I put that into words? Now, double type gloves you don't just use as they are regular double gloves. You actually gotta adapt them to different situations. Oh, Refa not having timed that rush perfectly, which led to him getting grabbed while the rush was being activated. Getting a nice 360 in. I love 360s these days. And a long range, very nice landing grab, which is gonna lead to Refa winning the very first round. And I'm telling you, Refa is out for blood. He wants that revenge from Winners Finals. And this is also round 2 out of 100. Welcome to Grand Finals. Greenwood switching to the coil, seeing that Twin Tail did not work out perfectly. So we're just gonna bring out the NA meta and throw it at EU. And Refa may have revised his game plan a little bit, because that coil switch for the time being is not working out too well. And Grimwood's thinking that toaster hit was a confirm, but unfortunately it isn't, and led to a knockdown where the rush was activated. Both missing their rushes though. So this round could still go anywhere.
Oh! Pathetic!
Where was immediately throwing out that rush just 10 seconds into the game. Which may put Railroad into the lead for the rest of the game, unless Riva lands that rush. Oh, and as I turn my head to the second screen, Grenwood's health is already down to 0. Which means Grenwood really needs to revise his game plan in order to win against Riva, because if Riva wins 5 more games, it means game over for the entire tournament. Riva wins. But I really wonder what stage they are going to next. Oh wow! Would you look at that? It's Maso! Interestingly enough, Grenwood is bringing out his Kid Cobra, which you don't see very often. And if Grenwood throws out Cobra, it's always clapback Cobra. Which has proven to be a very effective strategy in Japan, and is still very meta around there, I believe. Oh, Riva teleporting into Grimwood and then throwing out a rush. A really nice conversion on Riva's end. And Tri-Blast Rush being Tri-Blast Rush, and sometimes being a kinda annoying hit, not in comparison to Hydra though, which is like the hitbox of a literal insect. Grimwood knocking Riva out of that rush though. And Clapback Cobra could theoretically really excel at this map if the how's it called, trampoline is broken. Because Grimwood technically does not need to approach for this round if Riva just stays at its turn. But Grimwood does not have to do anything anymore to win this game. Wait, hold on a second. A map that is not Masu? Impossible. This is, you guys, this is against the script. You guys are supposed to go to Masu another 10 times. Both characters really zooming here and there. Actually, are both very evasive characters, but Refa and Grimwood are taking it to the next level. The first second they're on the left side, the next second they're on the right side. They really zoom by. Oh wow! Grimwood grabs that rush and that finishes him for the round. That is the magic of elevation, people. It's really whack in ARMS. Yet it's kind of special. Refa just straight up approaching with a raw rush. But that last rush hit from Refa is not gonna hit. Which ended up in Grimwood still having a little bit of health. But Refa does catch Grimwood in the end. Which means this is game point for this game. Oh wow, Grimwood having a really good reaction time and catching a Refa in the air when thrown back by the air. Which leads to a very nice 20 combo. Refa reading Grimwood's the horizontal movement with the Salamander, or the Salamander I should say. And the Salamander in general is really good at catching horizontal movement. You should say that for a lot of curve arms really. But when it comes to Salamander, when you like dash back a little, and the Salamander goes after you, it will still hit because it has a very wide hitbox, like for example Boomerang. And that means bracket reset, I believe. Yep, it's reset time. Would you look at that? They're going back to Mazu. Who would have thought? I love Mazu. I live off Mazu. Mazu is my life source. Mazu is the world. There's nothing but Mazu. What if this entire world is just a simulation? And the aliens behind this entire universe are just Mazu maps? Like, the ancient civilization who has been keeping us under control for this entire time is Mausoleum. No, that's not true. The entire world was born in Mazu. We are Mazu. We are a part of Mazu. Anyways, never mind my rambling. Back to the game. Rifa having a rush up while having a significant health lead, both getting a both getting hit at the same time, which you don't see often, and it of course leads to a double KO. May have the possibility to bring this back if that rush lands well and he gets an advantage state. But Refa says no, and is gonna end this game 1-0. Oh wait, oh there's another one. Never mind. Ramwood's reading that shield from a mile away, getting a very nice grab in. Refa sees that clapback and punishes it with a very high damage rush, which brings Ramwood to critical health. Ramwood does have a rush of his own though, not gonna hit. Ramwood getting kinda desperate, despite being on low health anyway. And that Salamander is gonna bring Ramwood to the ground. 1-0. That, Alistair, is very true. Well, what if you just rename your European Union, the European Union to the Maso civilization? Like that. Well, that will be a great idea. Then we will just be Maso. Everything is Maso. You have the Maso restaurant. You have Maso the game. And every city in the entire European Union will be called Maso. Like you go to Google Maps and every city is called Maso. Like Maso is everywhere. You can't hide. Yeah, and then like every location is called Maso, and then like London is called Rifa's Playground. Rifa having a hard time standing up right now. Does get a very nice combo in. Oh, Rifa jumping out of those punches and getting a very nice rush in. Grimwood does have one of his own though. Is gonna catch it with that very big rush curve check ramp. At critical health right now. Does need to make a miracle. Does need a miracle to happen in order to win this round. But unfortunately, Grimwood seems to be in a very high advantage in terms of position and health. Rush is gonna miss. Whereas we are EU, we're Europe ARMS competitive, not European Union ARMS competitive. So of course, UK will stay. Oh wait, Alistair asked that question. Never mind me. Junior ARMS, isn't that server already existent? Like, how's it called? ARMS United. After quite a while, that trampoline has finally broken up. But Grimwood is at critical health. Rifa needs only a few more hits to seal the deal. But Grimwood isn't out of the game yet. But Grimwood kind of realizing by his playstyle that he's not able to bring the game back. And Grimwood is saying right now that he gives up. Yeah, basically. Is the rest of Grand Finals gonna be me versus Riva? Because if that's the case, then I'm very scared. Okay, good. Well, that means Riva has won the entire game. We have seen a lot of even games in this EU PR Invitational, which is surprisingly. Yeah, of course, congratulations to Riva, but also congratulations to Grimwood for making it so far. And that means Riva has already won his first EU PR Invitational, with one only being snagged by Junior, which was unfortunately already eliminated from the bracket early on. And that means how many cash is Riva gonna take? As it stands now, $6. Unfortunately, no one contributed, but we'll sort it out. But yeah, we saw a lot of close games today, and I appreciate every single person in the stream right now for stopping by. And yeah, then hereby I'm gonna be ending the stream. So you all have a very nice rest of your day, and good night.